Hello everyone, welcome to the Dragunov guide. In this video we're gonna talk about pokes. Now, I know that pokes doesn't sound as flashy as combo damage, mix-ups, etc. But it's actually very important to learn your pokes and your options, especially when you're playing against a very defensive player that likes to use movements and small pokes. It's actually very important to know your options and the weaknesses of your options. So let's jump immediately into the game, and let's start by talking about your main pokes, which are standing jab, down forward one. This goes for every single character. These attacks are amazing. In the case of Dragunov, his standing jab has very good reach, as you can see. Just like any other standing jab is +1 on block, which is really good. His down forward one also has really good reach, and it's only -2 on block, with a very nasty follow-up now. So the opponent needs to be careful not to press buttons afterwards, because this follow-up can be very devastating on counter it. I think you already know this. I don't think I need to demonstrate this to you, but this can be very nasty. So your down forward one has a really good reach, but there is a big trade-off with this move, and is the fact that the vertical hitbox is very bad. And I'm gonna show you how I have recorded Lee doing a standing jab into a down 3, and I'm gonna show you that he's gonna crush my down forward one. And this is not something exclusive to Lee. This down forward one hitbox is notorious for being trash. It has been like this at least since Tekken 7. They still haven't fixed this, and this is unfortunately one of the biggest reasons why Dragunov was so bad in Tekken 7. Now, to counterbalance this, Dragunov received this back 4, which has an incredible vertical hitbox in Tekken 8. It used to hit grounded in early Tekken 8. Now they removed that, but it still has an incredible vertical hitbox, and it still, for example, hits Xiaoyu out of Art of Phoenix even if she ducks down. So this can actually be used in case you're afraid that your opponent is going to use something that has great evasion. This can still be used as a poke. It's slightly slower, it's 14 frames, but you know, you have characters with 14 frames down forward ones. You have Paul, you have Feng Wei, so it's not a bad trade-off, right? Having this, it's 14 frames, but there is no way your opponent can evade this. So this is a good poke if you're afraid that your opponent is gonna use an evasive attack. So it complements down forward one really well. You know, it's here basically for this reason. It's here because the down forward one hitbox is pretty bad. So the developers are basically saying, oh, you want something with a better hitbox? You have it, but now it's 1 frame slower. But it's good that it's still here. And then, of course, you know about down 2. Down 2 is your main low poke. It's pretty much homing. The opponent can't step it. I think you already know this. I don't need to. I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna show this to you, but I think you know that this is pretty much homing. It's a great low poke. It has good evasion, high evasion. Now, unfortunately, it's -1, so the opponent has the advantage here. But it's still a good low poke, and it's your main low poke, to be honest. I mean, this is -14 if I remember correctly. It has good reach, but yeah, you're gonna mainly stick with down 2. Now, let's go back to the standing jab for a moment, and let's talk about all the extensions from the standing jab. So all the jab strings, right? From standing jab, you have 1-2, which is a high-mid option. It's usually very important to have a high-mid jab string. it's actually very, very strong to have an option like this. Dragunov has it, as you can see. Like, all the top tiers in Tekken 7 had a high mid jab string. I think about Kuni, I think about I think Zafin as well. Jin still has it. So is a 2-1. It's actually very important to have a move like this. Now Azucena has it, 2-1. Unfortunately though, for Dragunov, this jab string has very bad frames. As you can see, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but that's not the main problem. The main problem is that it's only +2 on hit. On block, it's -9. So it is pretty bad, but I think you probably already know the reason is because this is basically a countered string. The whole thing is a countered string. So this is mainly the reason why that high mid has such terrible frames. Unfortunately, it doesn't have another option, you know, another high mid string that doesn't lead to a countered string. So unfortunately, this is your best option. It's a great move because the opponent can't really duck you because the second hit is a mid. So if he ducks your first hit, it's gonna get interrupted by the second hit. But unfortunately, the frames are really bad, so you need to be careful when you use this move. 2-1 is a great, another great jab string. It jails, so the opponent can't duck you. You see, it jails. It has good frames on block. It's only -3 on block. It's only -3 on block. We can cancel into sneak. We gain some frames, but it's a good poke string, and it's also 20 damage. The only slight problem, I would say, is the pushback on hit. As you can see, Lee takes a big step backwards, and it's hard to pressure if you don't commit to the sneak. So you are almost forced to commit to the sneak if you want to get any form of pressure afterwards. So then you need to cancel it. It's a bit technical. Then he also has these strings here, 1-3, 1-3-2. Personally, I don't like these strings. As you know, to use these strings as a poke. Like 1-3 is only +1 on hit. It's not amazing. This follow-up here doesn't do anything. This is a natural hit launcher now, but the opponent is not gonna duck you. You can threaten with the grab, but the grab is breakable unless you have heat. I'm gonna show you that the opponent can still break it. Oh. This is still breakable, so there is no reason for the opponent to duck you. So I'm personally not a huge fan of these strings, you know. Maybe you can try to do this and condition the opponent, and then at some point you throw the mid. But no, I'm not a huge fan personally of these strings. But maybe you know, maybe they're better than I think. And then we could I guess we could also talk about 1-1-3, which is it used to be much better in Tekken 7. I think I already talked about this because the damage was higher, and you also had this this mid follow-up. You could threaten the opponent with this mid at any point, and it was pretty good because it has big pushback. You can threaten a backswing blow afterwards. Wait. Wait. Yeah, like this. You can threaten a backswing blow. I'm doing this on a new controller, so you know, forgive me. But you can threaten a backswing blow. It was actually pretty good, but in Tekken 8 they reduced the damage a lot, and so I don't use this too much. And also remember that the second hit is duckable. so you need to be very careful when using this this jab string. You see, the second hit is duckable. Same goes with is 4-1. 4-1 was really good in Tekken 7 because it used to jail. But now, unfortunately, they nerfed this move, and now the opponent can duck after blocking the first hit. It's unfortunate. I really love this move, especially after a sidestep. I would do sidestep into 4-1. It was a good sidestep option to punish the opponent. You didn't risk a lot. Now it's like, yeah, I mean, the opponent can duck you. And the frames are still not... I mean, the frames are slightly better. I remember this was like -6 in Tekken 7. Now it's -4, but still. It's hard. Definitely it's hard to react because it's a 2-hit string, but there is still not as safe as it used to be in Tekken 7. And then, I guess we can start to talk about this other stuff here. Let's talk about back to 1 first. Now, outside from the full thing, which I think you should never use, it's a pretty useless move. The first back one can actually be used as a setup for crouch 1-4. Or you can do the back one into a wall standing move. You can do wall standing 1, wall standing 3. And if the opponent doesn't respect you, you add the second hit. Now, the only small problem is that the second hit doesn't do anything on counter it, really. And the first hit is not like it has evasion, even though Dragunov recovers in crouch. But it has no evasion. Like, I'm gonna show you that it has no evasion. You see, it has no evasion, even though Dragunov recovers in crouch, and so it's like, yeah, it's a 15 frames mid, like it doesn't have crazy frames or anything. It's just that it's good as a setup for full crouch 1-4 in combination with down 2, which is also another great setup for full crouch 1-4. So you can condition the opponent a little bit with this move. You just do this, while standing 4, this, and then you do something different. I guess you can also grab. Yeah, you can also grab now, which is also interesting, if you want to. But unfortunately, the follow-up doesn't do much on counter it. Lastly, I want to talk about down back to 1. Down back to 1 is an interesting string because it's a string that is a little bit power crept in Tekken 8 because of downward 1-4, because they cover a same niche. Basically, the way this move works is that you condition the opponent in throwing the first hit, and then when the opponent thinks, okay, he's only gonna use the first hit, you add the second hit. And what happens when the second hit hits on counter it? You see Lee is getting this big stun, something that doesn't happen if it doesn't hit on counter it. And that is because if this hits on counter it, the furthest hit is guaranteed, and Lee is launched. So it works in a very similar way as downward 1. Right, downward 1, downward 1, downward 1, and when your opponent is conditioned, you do downward 1, 4, and he's launched. It covers the same niche, but unfortunately, downward 1 is 1 frame faster than down back 2, which is 14 frames. And the hitbox is not like that much better. It has some tracking though. Down back 2 has some tracking, especially towards Dragunov's strong side, but you can try to use a trick to make this move track a little bit more, and is what you basically want to do. I'm gonna set Lee to sidewalk right. As you can see here, now wait, you need to block. As you can see here, the down back 2 doesn't connect, but if I do a small step, a small side step, it suddenly realigns a little bit, and I'm gonna tag Lee. And this, of course, works also in the other direction. You see? So it can be useful to track the opponent a little bit, especially if you do this this mini sidestep. Personally, I would love for the first hit to be homing, because a little bit like Nina's double slap, where the first hit is homing. I would love for this to look a little bit like Devil Jin's laser cannon, because they have actually very similar frames when you look at these two moves. Because just like Devil Jin's laser cannon, the laser cannon tracks on both sides. It tracks very well, and just like the laser cannon, the second hit it's -10. So after the opponent blocks the second hit, it becomes a mind game between is he gonna add the third hit or not. And same goes with Devil Jin. Is he gonna add the last hit or not? He's gonna stop there. And I think it would add an interesting mind game, and it would give Dragunov a good homing poke. Nothing spectacular, but you know, it would be interesting. I would love to see that. But in the meantime, you can try to do a small sidestep into down back 2-1, and it usually has a little bit of tracking more. It's a string that can tag the opponent sometimes. Two more attacks that I completely forgot to mention are down forward 4 and back 3, right? Now, down forward 4, it's a 12 frames mid with very long range, -9, but it has big pushback on block. And this move has great range, but the main problem with this move is the horizontal hitbox. It means that any move that has even the slightest amount of horizontal evasion, so sidestepping, is gonna crush this move. This move is notorious. This is another notoriously bad move when it comes to hitboxes. And unfortunately, I personally only use this move as a keep out. Sometimes when the opponent is almost dead, and you know, I need that last poke, I can sometimes try to use this because it's slightly faster than a down forward 1. But as a poke, it's not really that good because it's not something like Fengwei's back 4 that has incredible tracking. It has good reach, and it's slightly fast, but the frames are not amazing, and you will be surprised by how many times I got evaded by using this attack. So I'm not a super huge fan. I only use it as a defensive option sometimes from far away. Or, you know, as a tool when I need a super fast mid to check the opponent, maybe in a mix-up situation. You know, this can be very useful. This can be useful in some situations. But I prefer down forward 1 as a mid check, to be honest. And lastly, back 3. I think I already talked about this move in a previous video. You know what I think you probably already know what I think about back 3. It's a pretty bad move. It's a homing high, 14 frames. But the problem is that it's -9 on block, so you basically lose all of your momentum by using this attack, and it's just not worth it. On hit, you get a small stun, but that's it. And even on counter hit, you get nothing. So it's like I personally don't use this move too much, because yeah, like in most situations, if it connects, you don't get a huge reward. And if it gets blocked, now you're at -9, right next to the opponent. So yeah, unfortunately Dragunov's homings are pretty bad. I think you already know about this move. But this is too slow to be considered a poke, even though it does almost poke damage at this point, 19 damage. But yeah, it's not an amazing poke. Unfortunately, I don't use it too much. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say. So thank you so much for watching, and take care.